get going here. You can see my screen. As always, I am not a financial advisor, an attorney, or a CPA. Our goal here is to give knowledge and information on different things that people are doing, that we see that they're doing. You should always go back and consult with your advisors on different assets or different tax strategies that are applicable to you. I, of course, don't know all of your strategies, don't know all your finances, so I can't give you specific personal advice. I can give you kind of from my experience what I've seen and or what I've done. We now at Horizon Trust Company have a little over 8,500 clients, been around 15 years. Last month, we opened up a couple, almost 200 new accounts. Tis the season. People are, taking more and spending more time and attention on their retirement, which I love seeing. Just to give you an idea, when we started 15 years ago, we opened up, it was between 200 and 225 accounts in our first year. Last month, we opened up 200. So I'm really proud of that, of our team and what we do. And I'm very attentive to your questions and our concerns. And so we are always here at Horizon Trust Company. Service is the name of the game for us. And so with this slide, as far as what we don't offer, what we do offer is service. What we do offer is an opportunity for you to manage your self-directed IRA or create a self-directed IRA, and which gives you unlocking, the power of using your funds how you wish. For the most part, right? There's some rules what you can and cannot do. At Horizon Trust Company, we try to accommodate based upon staying compliant, but based upon what you are telling us and sharing with us where you want your funds to be invested. This number is ever evolving and changing. I've shared almost every time. I know probably half of you have been here before, half of you are new to us. The amount of IRAs and retirement accounts has been growing. People investing in crypto and the stock market and real estate. Even in real estate, when the real estate market's been a little bit stagnant, the amount of trillions of dollars invested in retirement accounts is incredible. So this is including 401ks and IRAs. Typically, I just show kind of the IRA number, but there is so much money being invested in retirement accounts. You most likely are one of those, and if you're not, we can help you change that. Frankly, we can help you change that tomorrow when our offices are back open. We can help you get your self-directed IRA account set up for you and or your kids. And so as we start talking about self-directed IRAs, just a reminder as well for those that are new, having a self-directed IRA is not a type of IRA the IRS has approved. It is it's a custodian. A self-directed IRA company like ours is a custodian that holds the accounts, retirement accounts, simple SEPs, traditionals, Roths, Solo Ks. We can hold all of those accounts and they still maintain the integrity and the rules of whatever those rules are in a simple SEP, Roth, or whatever the case is. It is still called that at Horizon Trust Company. It's just self-directing, meaning it's a self-directed simple or SEP, allowing you to invest in different alternative asset classes. So the main reason why people do want to invest a portion of or all of their retirement funds is to really have a lot of control. And so one thing that I'm going to talk about and want to jump into right now is, and many of you might have that. In fact, have this. In fact, I wouldn't mind when I get into it. You can share if you've got a 401k. I'm going to talk a little bit about a solo 401k. This is something that many of our self-directed IRA individuals, and again, don't mind if you're, if available, put in the chat, I have one of those, or I don't have a solo 401k, or if you don't have a self-directed, maybe put that in the box too. That would be nice to kind of see in the chat who has a self-directed and who does not. But inside of what we do at Horizon Trust Company, we also help individuals create a checkbook. Well, I won't go there. We'll help individuals create a solo 401k. What is that? That is a 401k, a specific plan that is created for you, the individual and the owner of a business. Many of our clients might have their own business, or they might just have a W-2 business. Sorry, not business, but W-2 income. They work somewhere. But you might be listening to this and you also want to or have started a business. And if you are the sole owner, one participant, of that business, you can also include your wife, but no other employees, you can create, and we can help you create a solo 401k. So, sorry, we're getting over a little cold here, but that being the case, if you have a retirement account, but you want to create a solo 401k, we can help you do that. Now, why would someone not just roll over a traditional IRA into a self-directed traditional IRA? Why would someone want to do this? Well, first, you have to qualify. And so you've got to own a business. And if you don't, but you want to create a business, we can help you also with that LLC. But that being the case, if you own a business, you can create a solo 401k for that business. And one of the big reasons, I think the absolute best reason why someone would want to open up a solo K is to increase their contributions into the retirement plan. This is, in my opinion, the absolute best way to increase contributions. Why? I can't tell you how many people say, okay, I love this self-directed thing. Now I want to fund it. I want to put $100,000 in there. I want to put $50,000 in there. And there's contribution limits when you put in money into a simple or SEP or Roth or traditional. There's also limits to a solo 401k, but typically those limits are much higher. So again, this is designed, a solo 401k is designed for self-employed individuals. If you're a business owner with no full-time employees other than a spouse, a lot of these examples that we see are people that are consultants, real estate agents, real estate investors, venture capitalists, people that are investing in different businesses, but they have an LLC and/or business that is designed to make money. You can have a marketing company, any kind of company really that is yours. Then you do qualify for a solo 401k. And for those of you listening who don't qualify for that, I'm going to wrap up here in a couple of slides about solo Ks and move to another subject. And so hang on there for a quick second. Now, this slide is nearly impossible to see. And so I apologize, at least it is for me. But the core, and I'll read it here, the requirements for the 401k is you must have self-employment income. You cannot have any full-time W-2 employees except for the spouse. And you have to be a sole proprietor or LLC or have a corporation. So those are the only requirements. So what does that mean? It means if you want to start a business and you plan on making money in that business, whatever it may be, and you are the owner of it, you and or your spouse, you most likely qualify to create a 401k. So why it's so powerful? The solo 401k is powerful because you can play in two roles. You can play as the employee and also the employer, which means as you pay yourself income, you have to have income paid to you from this LLC. You can contribute to your 401k as an employee. And what can your employer do? Your employer can match and make contributions. And so the combination thereof of being the employee employer, every year it goes up, but what's powerful about this is combined between employee and employer. If you're paying yourself an income, and we can go over kind of those percentages one-on-one with you, you can go up to, I think, and Claudia can correct me a little bit later, but I think almost between $71,000 and $75,000, maybe up to this next year. And so that is almost unheard of, by the way, in general, to be able to contribute that much to retirement plan. And so what's also available and very powerful is you can do this in Roth and traditional options. So it doesn't have to just be a traditional. So I want to make sure you understand that. For those of you that might think, or you are savvy in understanding these retirement plans, what most people understand is what about a Roth? Roth, there's contribution limits, right? 65, 7,500 as a max. There's also other contributions. Other restrictions. If you make too much money, you can't contribute to a Roth. So what do? People open up traditional accounts and then do a backdoor Roth. They then convert their traditional to a Roth. With a solo 401k, it does not matter how much money you make. you can still contribute, and you can contribute a lot more. So those two prohibited things or disqualifiers don't play a role here in the 401ks. So very powerful if you're looking to catch up. Like many and most, I'd say most Americans, you're behind in your savings. You want to put away more, and as you get older, you have the ability to put away more. Having a solo 401k can be very, very helpful in kind of getting you caught up, especially using a Roth to do so. So those higher contributions make a big deal. Another benefit of 401k is this has come up, and I'm going to let Claudia, I know, is taking notes, so you can correct me on some of these numbers or dates because she got the specifics. But if you're interested, and the reason why we brought this up, the solo 401ks, is because you do have, if you want to set one up, you've got to do so by mid-December. So creating your 401k, your solo 401k, we can help any individual do that in the next 30, 45 days. And so in the chat, and I know here towards the end, et cetera, you're going to have our contact information, but also in the chat, Claudia and or Alicia is going to put in here a link for those individuals who want to potentially look at a solo 401k to see if they qualify, see if you qualify, and or if you want to set one up. And so there'll be in the chat a link. You can schedule an appointment with our team. We'll walk you through it to see if it makes sense, see if you qualify, see if you don't. That being said, what are some other things why people like the 401k? People love the solo 401k because you can also borrow up to 50,000 or 50% of your account value. So what does that mean? So if you have a $150,000 401k, you can borrow up to 50,000. 50,000 the max. If you have a $50,000 401k, you can borrow up to 50% or $25,000. Why is that powerful? Well, that's powerful because you can use that loan for anything that you want. I'm not going to recommend it, but you can you can use it for vacations. You can use it to go to Vegas. You can use it to put a down payment on a house. You can use it for a loan for education or medical reasons. You can use it for anything that you'd like. It is a loan that you're borrowing from yourself from your 401k. And at that point, you need to repay it back within 5 years with interest. And typically that rate is around prime +2. And so what does that mean? The interest that you pay back, let's say you borrow $50,000 and you're, over the year, you're paying back, let's say you're paying back $3,000 or $4,000 in interest. That $3,000 or $4,000 is earned and paid and maintained inside of your 401k. So it's basically like a free loan, in my opinion. Why? Because you're paying yourself back in a retirement account. I like this account for all the reasons we just said, but being able to contribute more, powerful. Being able to attach a Roth account to it, powerful. Being able to borrow from it for emergencies if needed, powerful. Paying interest on those loans and it basically you're paying back your retirement account yourself, powerful as well. And so if you find yourself that you're eligible or qualify for a 401k, this could make sense for you. Now, look, if it doesn't make sense for you, or when I say it doesn't make sense, you don't have a business and you do not qualify, that's okay. This is for those individuals, and this is timely for those individuals as we go and near the end of the year. And so it'd be a great time for you to consider this and or schedule an appointment to see if this works for you. So a couple things to, common mistakes to avoid, and then I'm going to move on to a new subject here, is hiring employees. You can't hire employees inside this LLC that are full-time W-2. You can't miss your annual filing requirements. We help you do those filing requirements, by the way. We can do them for you, or you can have them done elsewhere. You can't commingle personal funds, personal accounts with your IRA accounts, and you also, you can't. You're forgetting to track kind of your Roth dollars and pre-tax dollars. We help you with all these things, by the way. But these are just a few things that people sometimes will start making mistakes on as far as tracking goes. Whenever you start controlling and using your funds inside of your solo 401k and or a checkbook LLC, it's imperative that you track everything. You track what you put in, you track what type of account it is. We will do it internally as far as the Roth accounts and also the traditional accounts. We will track that and work with you on that as well. Just a couple little things to avoid. Now I want to jump into two things, and we're going to go back to that. So if you have questions, please put it in the chat on solo 401ks. I'm going to come back to that with Claudia. I'm going to bring her on here in 5-10 minutes here, just as I wrap up a different subject here. So what I want to share now, and this is kind of the typical beehive slide. We talk about what kind of assets people can invest in using their self-directed IRA. The list is endless, really, as far as what you can invest in. There's only a few things you cannot invest in. But I want to talk about this one because it keeps coming up time after time. I'm not saying go all in it, but I do want to bring it up again. Investing in cryptocurrency. How much should someone invest in there? I can't tell you. I'm not an advisor. Should someone invest in there? I feel like every time I've done it twice, me personally. And do I think, I should and my kids should invest something in there? Yes. Is it 1 or 2% of your portfolio? In my opinion, for me, it is that. I know some people go all in, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying you should, do your own homework. I don't go all in on anything, but this is something that a lot of people have asked about, and I wanted to talk about it for just a couple slides here: cryptocurrency and buying different currencies. It's very important when doing so, one of the first things you can do, there's a couple of ways of investing in cryptocurrency. There's a kind of do it all for you process that we can help you with at Horizon Trust Company. There's a platform where it's like, hey, look, I don't want to go through all the steps. I just want to help us use someone else's platform and get it all set up. We can help you with that. For other individuals, they're like, hey, look, I want to be more hands-on. I want to create my wallet, and I want to pick, the different coins personally and use a different platform. You can do that. How you invest in cryptocurrency is you would open up a checkbook LLC, and then move your IRA funds from us. Our IRA, your custodian, you would advise us and refer us to send that money, X amount of dollars, to your checkbook LLC. And that checkbook LLC would be owned by your IRA, not you personally. So this process is not the done for you process. If you're wanting to invest in any kind of cryptocurrencies using any kind of, the Geminis and the Coinbases, etc., you can use this process, which is opening up a self-directed IRA with us. And then we, it has to have, then we help create you a checkbook LLC. And with that checkbook LLC, you'll then have a dedicated operating agreement that's specific to that LLC. So your IRA funds will move into that LLC. You're the manager of and signer of it. And you'll set up a bank account, obviously, beforehand so the monies can get there. And then when the monies get there into your LLC, they're the last square in the top on the right. Now your monies have gone from Horizon Trust Company. You've opened up the LLC, checkbook LLC. The funds go there. Now with that checkbook LLC, you can go out and create an account with that in the LLC name, and you're the signer of it, on an exchange that allows you to hold a business account, right? Some exchanges do not allow you to do that. And from there, you can create your wallets and start investing and investing in that platform. And it's not a very, I wouldn't say it's a difficult process, but there are, several steps, and you need your own due diligence on how you invest using your business account that has your IRA funds in it to invest in these different platforms. I would say probably about 30% of our clients use this process. The other 70% are doing more of the seamless process where it's kind of almost done for you. That has all the insurances in place and the process in place and the platform in place, which we can help you with as well. Again, we don't advise on it, but we can help you with the platform if that's the direction you want to go. Cryptocurrency. I feel like every time I decide I want to put more money in, I second guess it because I'm like, gosh, I'm always buying at the peak, but then it keeps going higher. So I know there's been a bit of volatility even this last week. I don't try to time the cryptocurrency market, nor do I try to time the stock market. Not because you shouldn't necessarily, although some would say that. I just am not good at it. And so I've just learned, just like in real estate, if I can buy a piece of real estate or land on a piece of real estate that works in today's market, I will have success over time in my real estate investments. So I don't try to wait until the market or till the rates drop before I invest in the market, in the real estate market. That's the process for cryptocurrency. A lot of people have asked us, of course, with the market changing, and this is it would have been great if you invested back in May of 2024. Here we are about a year and a half later, and what you'd be at in the if you had bought Bitcoin. How much further is it going up? I don't know. You can do your own due diligence on what you think that will be, up or down, wherever that might be. There's a lot of interesting things happening in the market, right? And the government, et cetera. So that's for you to do your own due diligence on. But should you put some percentage in there? Probably. Um, you can ask your advisors, obviously, as well. But that is one thing you can do with a self-directed IRA, which I think is interesting and powerful. The other thing that we talk about often is, and this is where probably between 70 and 75% of our clients are investing, is investing their self-directed IRA some kind of real estate. So they're leveraging, their IRA. They can borrow, with their IRA to buy and create cash flow that goes to their IRA. And it's just powerful to gain access to different real estate investments using your IRA. I spend most of my time with my IRAs in commercial and private lending. I've done some syndications. I've done some storage units. But typically I try to do assets that give me a better tax advantage that I'm going to buy and hold longer than a year. I try to put outside of my IRA. Things that I think that's going to be kind of like lending is one of the better ones where I'm not getting any tax really benefits um, today. Then I try to use my IRA for that. Many people are using their IRA to invest in some kind of real estate. If you're listening to this and you've got some portion of your funds in a retirement account, or with us at Horizon Trust Company, you do not have to move all of your funds into one particular asset class or one investment at all. In fact, if you also have money at Charles Schwab or Fidelity or JP Morgan Chase, wherever that might be, you can leave a portion of your funds in the stock market and the other portion move to us at Horizon Trust Company to start investing in these different alternative asset classes. It is not necessary for everybody. This is meant for those that take action, that want to read their documentation, they trust and understand where they're investing their funds, and they see a better upside than the stock market. A lot of people, of the 75% of our clients that invest in the stock market, invest in real estate with us at Horizon Trust Company. I don't know the exact percentage without looking at it. We look at it every month, but a large percentage, almost 25 to 30%, are investing in some kind of syndication. Meaning, if you have a full-time job and you're not doing this, in the real estate world full-time, and somebody or invest with somebody in their deal, and they have a fund or some kind of group investment club, et cetera, they have their own syndication and a group where you might be able to invest in passively, where they're managing the asset, where they're managing, all that's going on inside the real estate market. Many clients are doing that. I get it. A passive approach is a lot more attractive. You can see the benefits of investing in these different syndications or real estate deals inside or outside of your retirement account over a 5 or 10 year period. It's a big deal. If you're inside, you're investing outside of an IRA, you're paying taxes every year or every time it moves, it rolls. And those taxes can eat up your profits. And so I can make the same returns as you every single year, except do it inside my self-directed IRA. You do it outside your IRA, and I will have more money in my account after 5 or 10 years. Why? Because I'm not having to pay those taxes on those gains. Potentially ever if you're doing it with inside of a self-directed Roth IRA, which is where I recommend everybody doing it. Having a self-directed Roth IRA, over time, getting your money transferred and converted to a Roth is very powerful. And look, the numbers I always like to share is, the difference you having, let's say, 280 $100,000 or $400,000. I mean, if you just take those two numbers at retirement, right, and you decide that you're going to retire after 10 years, you put $100,000 in, right, over 10 years. And let's say now you're only going to make 12% in your money and you want to live off the interest. Well, $400,000, that's $4,000 a month in interest. At 280, that's 2,800. An extra $1,200 at retirement might not sound like a lot, but that's a big deal, especially if you're living a little bit on a smaller budget when you go to retire. Have an additional $1,200. So the power of you compounding and investing in asset classes that you don't pay taxes on over over a decade or two make a big deal, get you there much quicker. So that's what I try to get. I try to do with myself, Cricket Eye, what a lot of others try to do as well. And so, all that being said, solo 401ks, self-directed 401ks, cryptocurrency, and of course, investing in real estate, which is what most of our clients are doing, is what we want to try to help individuals learn about, educate themselves on, and facilitate. So if you aren't doing it, or if you have questions about it and you're already clients of ours, that's my email. We respond to everything within 24 hours. If you haven't scheduled a call and you want to and schedule a call with my team, I'll absolutely go here, schedule an appointment. We'll answer any questions you've got. There's zero pressure. We're here to serve you. We're here to make sure your experience is great, especially since most of you are self-directing for the first time with us. We know that you're going to have questions, and it's not going to be probably the first asset you buy is not going to be the smoothest. Why? Because it's new to you. There's certain documentation you might have to get and before we process it. These are things and checks and balances that keep us compliant, but also try to keep you safe and making sure you don't do anything that's disqualified. So that being said, I'm going to stop my share here, and I'm going to bring Claudia on, and wanted to just kind of jump through some questions here with Claudia and that you guys might have. And hey, Claudia.
Hi, how are you?
Can I hear you? There,
Can you
there
hear
you
me?
are.
There you go.
No, I cannot hear you. No,
No?
no. But you can give us a little sign language, and that's totally good
It
too.
looks like it's
Um,
working on mine. Can you guys hear me?
Still can't hear you unless anyone else can. If someone else can, that's great.
Yeah, everybody can hear me
They
except for
can?
you. Yeah.
Yes, they can. I just can't hear you. All right. Well, I can't hear you. So I
Let me.
will, that's okay, but everyone else can. So that's great. This is even better. We've never done this before. I can lip read. Is that, I can read your lips,
Yeah, lip
and
read.
you can try to
Lip
read
reading.
mine. You can hear me, lip read. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lip reading. Anyways, we're going to go through chats here and answer questions. Claudia has been with us for a very long time. She oversees all new business, and really happy to have her on with me today. Thank you. I know our office is today. It's closed today on Tuesday. So if anyone that's reached out in the chat, we will get back to you tomorrow. Claudia came in today to join me. I appreciate it. Try taking out my AirPods. I will try to take them out. Maybe then I'll hear Claudia. I've had this problem before. Alicia,
So if you go, I don't know
I
if I
know what
can
it
share
is.
the CC.
I know what it is. That's my bad. It's not my AirPods. Okay, go ahead, Claudia.
Is that better?
Yeah.
There
So,
you go.
um, I didn't have the volume up on my computer.
Oh,
So
on your computer,
the
yeah.
basics, guys. Sorry, but I'll leave these out since I can hear you fine. Anyways, that being said, let's jump in some. And before we jump into it, thanks, Will. I appreciate it. Before we jump into questions here, Claudia, is there anything that I missed or my numbers are off on something? I'm sure I didn't do 100% on some of the figures. So you want to join or share anything that I missed?
Yes. So the figures for the contributions did change a little bit. They actually changed not too long ago. It is up to, I just looked it up, $70,000 for anybody under the age of 50. So it's 23,500 for the employee, and then the employer can contribute up to 25% of the salary. So up to 70. And if they're over the age of 50, then they get what is called a catch-up contribution, and that's an additional $11,250.
Great.
So yeah. And then we did have a lot of questions on here. And also you did mention that there is a deadline. There is a deadline to set up a solo 401k. The reason for that is because we have to have the plan documents with the year of 2025 so that you can make a contribution for 2025. So you don't have to do it until the end of the year to make the contribution, but the plan documents, because we have to give it to our third party provider, our that does our sponsor company plan documents, it has to be before December 12th is when we would like everybody to have the
So the rule
application.
is end of the year, but realistically, with holidays and also making sure you follow through with all the paperwork, is we want it done by, the middle of December. Gives us plenty of
Mhm.
time, so we're not rushing. No one wants to rush over Christmas and New Year's, so that's the deal. All right, there we go.
Yes. And if the plan documents don't have a plan document 2025, then we're not allowed, or you're not allowed to make the contribution for 2025. So that puts you at next year's contribution. So super important that you keep that deadline in mind.
Great.
All right, so let's go over a couple of questions. So somebody asked for an S corp, solo 401k, or a SEP IRA. What is the difference? Do you want to go over that one?
I'll let you jump in it. You did a
Okay.
lot of those. You did a lot of those in your prior life here before
Mhm.
us.
Yeah. So S corp is a type of corporation. That is not a type of retirement account. So the S corp is going to be the sponsoring company for your 401k. So the difference between a solo 401k and a SEP IRA is that the solo 401k cannot have any employees. So if you have an active business and you have employees, then you qualify for a SEP IRA. You do not qualify for a 401k. Somebody did ask, what if I get an employee in the future? So that's a great question. You can enjoy all the benefits of a solo 401k until you have that employee. And then after that, you have to switch it over to a SEP IRA or a regular IRA. Now, that being said, if you have two separate companies and one of them has employees and the other one does not have employees, then the one without the employees does qualify for a solo 401k. But you have to work with your CPA to make sure that the structure for the one with employees either has some kind of offering or you have some kind of retirement account that at least you offered. They don't have to take advantage of it, but you do have to work at that point with your CPA to make sure that you have all the rules in place and that you can still take advantage of the 401k. That's something that we won't know. So if you come to us, we're going to ask the questions, hey, do you have a business that has no employees? And at that point you qualify. But you have to be aware that if you have other things or other ventures going on, you have to work with your CPA to make sure that you do qualify on that side. So somebody asked, what if you have a 403b? Does this information still apply?
Yeah, so if you have a 403b and it's a current 403b where you're making contributions where you currently work, you cannot, it's like a 401k. You cannot move that over to a self-directed IRA. So you'd have to leave it there until you're no longer employed
Mhm.
with them. Now, if it's an old 403b, which many, many people have, I remember I had a lot of school district and administrators, et cetera, who had a 403b. Once you leave, you're able to self-direct that and move that over. So, yeah.
That's correct. And if you have a 403b from your previous employer, just schedule an appointment and we'll be able to set that up for you. We get this question asked a lot. So I'm going to ask it, but I know the answer already. Do you have a good CPA you might suggest for small businesses in California? So unfortunately, we don't have any CPA referrals. We do get that a lot, but we have to be very careful with who we refer out, especially for these types of services, because we want to make sure that we vet them out, and we don't have anybody in the state of California that we would recommend. Unless Greg,
Yeah.
do you have?
I
Yeah, right.
don't, I don't,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's phenomenal ones, but I'm based out of Nevada, and so and I don't even use a Nevada CPA. I'm using someone on the East Coast, so
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Steve is asking, how does RMDs work with a solo 401k checkbook account? The RMD would work the same as if you didn't have the checkbook account. So you would go to your CPA. Your CPA is going to tell you what your RMD is. And if the money is sitting in the checkbook LLC, then what we have to do is we have to transfer that money over to the Horizon Trust account. And at that point, you can take your RMD. So it's the same thing. We just have to make sure that the money comes from Horizon so that we can report it to the IRS correctly and it doesn't come from your checkbook account, because that wouldn't be the appropriate way of taking out money from any qualified account. It's not only the 401ks, it's IRAs, SEP IRAs, any kind of qualified account with Horizon Trust. you have to make sure that that any distributions come out of the account itself.
Right. I'm going to go to the question side for a second here. Jorge asked, would a 401k apply to me owning an Airbnb? It can. If your Airbnb, if it's an asset and it's earning money and you're not using it, right? You can create an LLC if you
Mhm.
haven't already for managing that Airbnb. And then if there's income there being made and paid yourself, you can create a 401k, Jorge. You already asked um, Shane. We had to answer Shane's questions. Yes, there is recorded sessions, so you can
Mhm.
watch the video later. Alicia will make sure it gets sent to you. Um, if you have a business, Nicoletta, if you have a business and solo and 401k, let's say later you close the business, can you still keep the created solo 401k? You cannot contribute more, but you can keep the already created account. Yes, you get to keep the account. You just cannot contribute more to it. So
Mhm.
that is the case.
And you would have to go ahead and change the sponsorship of that account because the sponsorship has to be an active LLC or business, or it can be you can set up a sole proprietorship under your social security number, or you can go ahead and establish an IRA. So we do have to have a little bit of extra work because the active business is no longer active, but you can definitely still keep the qualified account and no contributions the way that we were talking about.
Right.
Let's see. Somebody, Nicolette is saying that we should do some Roth conversion of a business and
Yeah.
open a
I
401k.
think we finished the
We
questions. So I
cannot.
went back to the chat. Let's go through your chat, any chat questions.
Mm. Do you focus primarily on how businesses can invest, or is this also individuals investing? This is a great question. This goes into your IRA. Today we're focusing on 401ks, but no, Greg got started on self-directed IRAs. Had nothing to do with 401ks yet. So he can go into how individual investing works as well.
So I'm sorry, I didn't see what's the question about individual 401ks or I mean IRAs?
They're asking if we only focus on solo
Got it.
401ks
I'm
or we
sorry.
do
Okay.
IRAs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Majority of our accounts, by the way, are not solo 401ks at Horizon Trust Company.
Mhm.
Majority are traditional or Roth or simple or SEP IRAs. I'd say of that, it's really Roth and traditional. That's where majority of our clients are investing or opening accounts with us. So if you don't qualify or don't want to open up a solo 401k, totally okay. You can open up a traditional or Roth, and that's what most people are doing for sure.
Yes. And the only reason why we're talking a lot about 401ks is because it is the end of the year. So any business owner that can take advantage of this huge contribution vehicle, we want to make sure that you guys know about it. Somebody asked for the personal 401k loan, am I getting taxed twice?
No, you're not getting taxed twice.
No. No, when you pay back your personal loan, you're not paying any taxes on that. That is a personal loan that your 401k allowed you to have. So any money going back to it, you do have to have an interest rate on that loan, but that interest is going to go back to your 401k, growing the 401k. It's not a tax and it's not coming to us directly. It's going back to your 401k.
And when you pull out, let's say the $50,000, you're not paying tax on that. It's a loan.
Hmm.
So there's no taxes
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
Somebody's asking any companies you might suggest for private lending, real estate, lease, factoring, etc.
Look, there's so many different companies. I'd say a couple things. If you're clients of ours, there's access to the investment corner. That's one place you can start to just do some of your own due diligence. This is just I think in our investment corner on our website, you can kind of see different companies that do different things. But if there's something more specific, like I don't know that we have any factoring companies on the investment corner. Uh, and so it just kind of depends on what kind of factoring. I understand what factoring is and that arbitrage and how it works, but that can be done in almost any business line. So I would, I mean, how I invest it really in anything is by referral and recommendations and meeting individuals. So in your city, in your state, or someone else that you know and trust lives, I would do my own due diligence and see what they're investing in. So if you're saying factoring, at least that means you at least are probably familiar with it. And those that are doing it, I'd go talk to them and see what they offer. and then do your own due diligence and see if it's a company right for you.
Yes. Carrie is asking, can you have both traditional and Roth money in one single LLC? So checkbook LLC.
Yeah, you can. And so let's say each one has $25,000 or $50,000. Your traditional with us and your Roth. Both of those accounts can invest in a membership interest in an LLC that is managed by you, but it would be owned by both of your retirement accounts. And so what you can't do is have 50,000, let's say 50,000 in each go over there and then allocate different profits to one over the other. It's got to
Mhm.
be the same pro rata based upon however they invest. So if the IRA, the Roth is 25 and the traditional is 75, well then 75% of the gains would go to the traditional and 25 to the Roth.
Yeah. And one thing to keep in mind, just to add to that, is that if you do decide to do an LLC like that, you won't be able to put any additional funds into that LLC because the way that the percentages went in at the beginning, that's how it has to stay. So we typically recommend for you to have single member LLCs for these types of investments. And also, it does need a specific filing for that LLC. So it goes from a single member LLC to a partnership LLC. And the partnership LLC does have to do a tax filing with your CPA. It's informational only. You're still not liable for any taxes, but that type of LLC has to have a filing. So we typically recommend not to do a multi-member LLC for these types of investments. Okay. Can you do a personal loan from a traditional 401k? A traditional 401k, or is this just for a solo 401k?
You can. You can do a loan from a traditional 401k. So it's not
So,
unique to a solo 401k.
oh, okay. I thought he was asking about an IRA
But
here.
but you know
Okay.
the difference is when you pay back, there's interest that's probably not as earned as well into your 401k, your solo 401k that's self-directed compared to the typical 401k plan that you might be in.
Jocelyn is asking, do you have any products that do not have to pay taxes on?
Products you don't have to pay taxes on. If you're talking about investments, I mean, where in general you don't have to pay taxes anything you use with your self-directed IRA, with your retirement plan. So there's no taxes paid on that if you're using your retirement funds until you go to take out your money. And the way to avoid paying taxes ever would be then to convert your traditional over time into a Roth. And that would be the best thing to do. So you can compound, make as much money as possible, and then when you want to go to take out distributions, you don't pay taxes at all. So it's not about the investment type as more as using the self-directed IRA vehicle. So yeah.
Mhm. I have Chandra that is asking, I have a few rental properties and I'm a green card holder. Can I set up LLC and start 401k? I have no employees.
I don't know, but I can find that out while you keep talking here. I'm pretty sure you can, but I don't know that. I don't know.
I think as a green card holder, you can own a business in the
Yeah.
United States. Yeah, that would be the question. I can go on to Steve's question while you look that up. It says, what is the annual report you mentioned? I think it's the 5500 easy. Yeah, so a Form 5500 has to be filed for every solo 401k that is valued at $250,000 or more. And that's based on the sponsoring company. So let's say you had a spouse, husband, wife, and the husband has 100,000 and the wife has 150,000 under that same LLC, then the Form 5500 has to be filed because the market value of both under one sponsor company is more than 250,000. Now, if it's less than 250,000, then you don't have to worry about that form until you get to a higher market value.
You can, yeah, green card. It's just you can do the exact same as any other citizen can. So
Mhm.
no restrictions there.
Ryan is asking, can you have more than one loan with the solo 401k?
Go ahead. I'll let you do it.
The answer is yes. It can't be more than $50,000 or up to 50% of the market value. That being said, there are specific rulings on a 1 year rule that I am not very familiar with, but our operations team is. So if you are at that mark where you had a solo 401k loan and you wanted to take another one, call us and we'll be able to do those calculations for you. They're super specific and I don't know the regulations behind it. Typically it's 50,000 or 50% of the account value. When you go
Uh,
on the side and okay, go ahead.
I was just going to read one of the questions here.
Yeah.
Our services, the fees, right now, and it'll change here after the end of the year, is $495 setup fee for a traditional IRA setup with self-directed IRA. That's just for a traditional account. And then in years two going forward, it is a percentage fee. And so the average percentage fee is around 70 to 75 basis points, so less than 1% per year. Really no other, we don't nickel and dime for wire fees and holding and transactional fees like all of our competitors do. So that's, the only fees, additional fees there are potentially is if there's tax forms that are prepared that we do. So.
Mhm. Jocelyn is asking, in transferring the 401k to a Roth, would I have to pay Uncle Sam that 20%? There is a 20% withholding. With that being said, if you are under the 20%, then when you do your taxes with your CPA, that would be kind of reconciled. But we do have to take out a 20% withholding for 401ks conversions.
Uh, Christine, when I get my funds returned, can I move from traditional to Roth? So once you get your monies established with us, let's say you moved over to us at Horizon Trust Company, you can convert them from a traditional to a Roth. That's something that typically you want to get advice from your advisor, your CPA, and then we'll work with you on as well. So that's something you can do. You just want to make sure you do it in a time or a year where you may have some other write-offs or depreciation, etc. So you can offset the taxes when you convert for your traditional to a Roth.
Mhm. George is asking, do I have to file any documents with the IRS if I do any investments with my self-directed IRA?
We do that. We at Horizon Trust Company, our job is to communicate all distributions and contributions to the IRS. And so, what you're investing in specifically, you do not have to report to the IRS. You do have to fill out a valuation form with us once a year on what assets that you own in your self-directed IRA, what the value is of those assets. And that you need to do so we can update our records. But our job is to do the communication for you on behalf of your self-directed IRA with the IRS.
Mhm.
Great questions. Great.
Yeah, these are all. Somebody's asking, do you assist with flips as well? Let's just say I'm using Roth for fixer upper. I think you mean, can you use?
You can use your IRA for flips. Correct. I don't know if that's your question
I think so.
or not, but yeah, you definitely can use it for flips. I know my son uses them for flips as well. So yeah.
Jocelyn, the same person is asking, how does a rollover work in moving from a 401k to the Roth? So it's basically just a conversion, and all we're doing is you'll have your 401k. If you don't have the 401k Roth account already set up, we'll help you establish that, and then we'll help you with the conversion. So you can either convert partial of the account from 401k to Roth IRA or Roth 401k, or you can do the full conversion, whatever works best with your financial situation. You can also do partial conversions of assets. So let's say you had a property and you wanted to convert 20% of the property into Roth so that you could have all of that rental income come in tax free. You can do that as well. So all of that we can go over with you and let you know what the exact process is. Can you convert an inherited 401k to a Roth 401k? That no, I don't think so. I can check that for
Yeah,
you.
double check that. In the meantime, as she gets this last answer, I just wanted to remind everyone, first of all, once again, thank you for those that have served or are serving us currently. And if you have a TSP account from prior working in the government, those can also can be converted into a self-directed IRA. So let us know. reach out to us, email us, schedule an appointment. We'd love to help however we can. It means a lot to us for all, having all of our community emailing us and calling us. I get texts and emails all the time with thank yous and or help me or whatever the case is. We are here to serve. We really do appreciate working with all of you. And if you're not yet working with us, welcome. Hopefully, welcome to the family. And every 2 weeks, we're here with guests half the time, and half the time we kind of dive into more of the question and answer stuff. So schedule an appointment. It's in the chat. Love to hear from you. Hope you have a great rest of your Veterans Day Tuesday. Thanks, everyone.
Yes.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There's lots more great content for you to learn and enjoy and apply to. And so anyways, click on the link below and listen to more videos or set an appointment with us. We look forward to hearing from you and also helping you.